Today we'll be talking about choosing a career. Hi, everyone. My name is Ken Wink with Summit Financial Consulting. Welcome to Money Talks. If you like what you hear today, please go to our website and like and subscribe on the podcast page, or you can go to YouTube. Be sure to look at past shows because we do a good job around here, consistently creating good stuff. Like and subscribe, as the kids say. So a lot of people are getting laid off right now, unfortunately, and there are also always a lot of kids that are graduating high school, and most of them are trying to figure out, what do I want my career to look like? So today we're just going to be talking about some different ways that you can uh, basically decide how you want to choose your next career. But before we jump into that, I'll introduce my co-host, Tony Shore. Tony, how did you know that you wanted to get into radio? Was it sort of a straight shot, or, God bless the broken road that got me here type situations? You're on podcasting mountain right now. How did we get here?
Oh my goodness, Ken, it's a sad sordid tale. No, it's not. But I was like, oh no, he wants to talk about careers. I always cringe because Ken, what happens is I'm in a social setting. People ask me, people are saying, what do you do for a living? And people are like, I'm an engineer, or I'm a lawyer, or I'm a financial advisor, or, all these different, I'm an ad executive, all these great occupations, right? And then they get to me and I say, I co-host financial radio shows. And they're like, either blank stare or, oh, or, oh, bless your little heart. If they're from the South.
Oh gosh.
Oh, bless your little heart. It's hard to explain what I do every day, all day. And it's just, is it a career? People are like, no, I asked you what you did for work. I do podcasts. If you mention podcasting, they're like, so do you work? And I'm like, yes, I work.
You're just talking to some older people that don't know how cool podcasting is, Tony.
Right.
That's all that's going. Just say you're a radio guy. I mean,
well, I am. I mean,
you get the voice of an angel. So
I spent 30 plus years, 35 years in radio, and then I've been doing voiceover work and co-hosting financial podcasts I've been doing this full time, financial podcasts and podcast production and financial radio shows, and on the radio. For the last 12 years, I've been specifically in this area. And in the last 12 years, I've actually recorded over 18,000 radio shows in 12 years.
Wow.
So yeah, closer to 19, I guess. So
that's what I would lead with. I've made over 19,000 radio shows.
There you go. That way I don't get the blank stares of the feeling sorry. Oh, bless your little heart.
Yeah.
You don't want someone in the South to say that to you ever.
No, that's not good.
It isn't good. But yeah, I mean, it's been a long and winding road. I got my first full-time radio job when I was still a senior in high school. I went half days. My last half of my senior year, I was able to go to school half days and then work at the station from midnight to 6 every day, and then do some production, go home, sleep, and go in the afternoon. And then I would, so it worked out, and just never looked back. So I was fortunate because I love what I do, and it really isn't work. Obviously, hanging out with you each week on the show, Ken, awesome. I look forward to it, right?
Best part of the day.
Yeah. You'll never work a day in your life if you love what you do, they say. And it's so true. I don't mean to brag, because I know a lot of people, some people have jobs they dread going to every day. And I've never experienced that. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Well,
yeah.
All I do all day is literally just look at how much people make and what they do for a living. That's not my primary job, of course, but it's something that I see every single day. So I'm hoping I'll be able to provide some insight on career choices. And, if one of our listeners is in this situation right now, or if you got a child or grandchild that's getting ready to make one of these important decisions, just throwing it out there that I'd be happy to have a phone call with them, or a sit down, and, just anything that I can do to help, I'd be happy to help, because these are sort of fork in the road moments for people, right? It's really big, important decisions. So anything that you can do to get a leg up can't hurt.
Well, no, and when I first met with you and said, Ken, I need some financial advice. When can my wife and I, when can I retire? And you said, what do you do for a living? I said, radio show co-host, and you said, oh yeah, you're not going to be able to retire,
Out of
Tony.
my own selfish, I just wanted you to keep working with me forever. I said, "You're never retiring, Tony."
I think it was more based on my pay, but you said, no, you're not going to. Oh, you're a radio show co-host and you still want to have enough money to retire, and you laughed. I don't know why no, you didn't. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Ken is great. And yeah, you work with a wide range of people and careers, and you've probably seen it all.
Absolutely.
And your career doesn't matter. It's how well you save, and working with a financial professional and having a plan. That's the key. So, choosing a career, what do you mean? Why are we talking about this, first of all?
Just because there's so many people that are dealing with this right now. I've actually had quite a few clients that have been laid off recently, and I've been
Sure.
sort of giving them my 2 cents on, should they stay in the same sort of industry or should they consider changing? So I got started in the industry, gosh, it's been 24 years ago. So when I was first getting going, there was the dot-com bubble popping and then September
Yeah.
11th. So there was just a ton of people that were in a tight spot. So for in addition to this excellent podcast, I always recommend that people read the book, What Color is Your Parachute?
Oh,
That's
that's a good one. I have read that. That's
yeah,
really good.
yeah, half that book is dedicated to someone who wants to find a job within the current career field. And then the second half is all about trying to decide if you want to choose a new career field. So that's a great thing. I used to, I bought 10 copies of it at one point, and then I just wrote like a little note in the back, like, hey, if you get a job, either give this back. I was like the Ken Wink library. I was like, give this back to me or give it to somebody else who's looking for a job, just trying to get some good
Yeah.
vibes, good karma there. And that's sort of where I started with trying to help people out with this kind of stuff. So, bottom line, want to be a helper, Tony.
There you go. I know you do, and that's what the show is all about each week. I mean, the whole reason you do what you do, and the reason you got into being a financial advisor, is the reward you get for helping people. And as a
Absolutely.
fiduciary, you're held to that standard, and you want to be at that level because you want to help people do what's in their best interests. And I think that's key right there. And I know you love helping people, and so the show is to be what our goal here is to be educational, not to listen to my bad jokes or whine about my career or brag about my career, whichever way you want to look at
Kind of
it.
day. Yep.
Yeah, a little of both. But choosing a career is a big step. I mean, obviously, I have 3 kids who are heading into their early 20s, and so this has been a big topic when you're young and in college or trying to choose college or choose a career. It's a big thing, but especially once you get set, you're through college, you've had a career, maybe you have a family, and maybe you lost your job during COVID, or you were a government employee and
Yep.
got laid off, and you're like, I'm 50 years old. What am I going to do? Or I'm 45. What should I do? Do I want to stay in the same career? So, what advice do you have for us in choosing a career?
Yeah. So I guess the first thing is just pick something you enjoy. You got to get out of bed in the morning. Tony, as a loving husband and an excellent radio guy, you can vouch for passion as a good thing. You want to have
Yes,
some passion for
you do.
what you're doing. So for some people, we say, you know what, go take a personality test, see what might be a good fit for you in the career world based upon your personality and your skill set and your happiness. Obviously, if you hate your job, um, it's probably not a great thing. So what I went and did is I went and looked up, I went to Indeed to try to find what the top 5 careers are for a rewarding experience. So for our listeners out there that just want something that really gives you a shot in the arm and makes you feel like you're doing something good every single day. Do you want to guess any of them, Tony, before I name the top 5?
A rewarding career.
Yeah.
Interesting. Number 1 should be financial advisor, I assume.
Didn't
No,
didn't make the
no,
top
I
5.
know. Probably not. Something in the healthcare field?
Nope.
Not in the top 5
Nope.
healthcare, like doctor or nurse? Huh, interesting. Most rewarding career. Boy, I don't know. You've got me stumped. I've not really thought about this.
So number one is teacher. So I'm guessing
Okay, that's
teaching all
yep.
those kiddos and seeing good outcomes.
Oh, maybe
Number two, oh, go ahead.
maybe public service, like policeman or fireman or
Yep. Firefighters on the list. Absolutely.
firefighter.
So yes,
Okay.
saving lives, helping to save houses. That makes sense. Another one is counselor. So
Oh,
that makes
interesting.
sense,
Sure.
helping people.
Yeah.
Athletic trainer. So helping
Really?
people get into shape, rehab from injuries.
Huh.
And then, you know what? Actually, the last one is sort of medical related, paramedic. So you're
Oh,
literally saving
paramedics. Sure.
lives, on the spot. Seems like that would be stressful too, but
Oh
overall,
yeah, like firefighter and paramedic. It's like I guess your definition of rewarding is you're really directly helping people and saving lives. That's why I maybe thought doctor or nurse, because any job where you're actually really helping somebody and maybe even saving their lives, whether you're a counselor and helping somebody come through depression, and that
yeah,
can be a serious thing, or a firefighter or a paramedic. I can see how those things, a teacher, teacher should be number one. That's so rewarding. I mean, I think teaching is great. And that's why I love what you do with the show, because you love to educate and teach people in order for them to help themselves and learn new things that, hey, if you know this, it's going to help you down the road, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, the one common thread with those jobs is that not all of them pay the greatest,
Right.
especially teachers.
Yeah.
Seeing one of the guys in our office, Zach, his wife is a teacher, and he's just, he's disappointed. She works so hard, and she's trying to help these kids so much. And oftentimes, teachers are you see the people that you graduated high school with, and it's like the smartest. Sometimes the smartest went to become teachers. Like they're really sharp and can probably make really, really good money, but then they sort of dedicate, I don't want to say public service, but they're like dedicating themselves to humanity, by being a teacher and helping the next
Right.
generation. So that's sort of one of my main bullet points for today is just that you got to sort of weigh, do you want something that's really rewarding or do you want something that pays really well? And sometimes when it comes to paying really well, then it comes with stress and some other negatives. So
The
in
more
case
the more it pays, the more stress you're probably going to have.
in a lot of cases,
In a
yeah,
lot
or
of cases. So
the
you need to
hardest.
have the personality type to deal with that if you want to go that route. And so you need to, that's why those personal assessment tests and personality tests are, people say, oh, that's cheesy or whatever, or, no, those are really
No.
important. My wife is she's the director of career services, and director of recruiting. She was director of career services for a university for many years, and now she's director of recruiting for a healthcare company.
Oh,
And so,
I didn't know
yeah,
she had that former job. We should have had her as a guest today. We blew
yes, yeah,
it.
she this is her field, and she is very big on personality tests. She made me and all our kids take it, and she's really big on that, and says it really helps people in career counseling. That's one thing they do. When she taught, career, the class for career services, when she was the director of career services, her and her staff would teach a class on, writing, the usual stuff, how to
Yeah,
write a good resume, things like that, how to interview, but how to prepare for an interview. But a big part of that was making everybody in the class take a personality test. And
yeah, that's great.
a big part of it is figuring out what you want to do. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, so I looked up so there's the personal fulfillment side and then there's sort of the money side. So I looked up the top 5 paying careers in the United States right now.
sure.
And they are, and you're sort of referencing it earlier, but gynecologist, psychiatrist, ER doctor, orthodontist, and anesthesiologist. So all
Those
of
are,
those are in the medical field. What sort of
and they're some of the top paying jobs.
yeah, those are the top 5 in the United States.
Wow. Wow. I'm shocked. I mean, Obviously, that's not an accurate list because I didn't hear financial advisor in there, but I'm sure.
And there's not like CEO either, right? But like if
Right,
you just try
right.
to choose which,
But that's not a career, really. I mean, CEO is something that you have to work up into. You don't go to college to be a CEO. I mean, that may be your ultimate goal, and you want to take classes that will help you get there. But you're right. But just right out of school, those careers, yeah, those are big ones, and they are all in the medical. The medical field is huge because there's always a shortage of nurses and doctors,
right?
always. And right now it's crazy. And I know that because of my wife, Sarah. Um, it's hard. They actually, for CNAs and basic nurses to work in, like, let's say long-term care facilities and nursing
Yeah.
homes, because that pay, that's low level and it doesn't, start great. If you want a CNA or an MMA or even RNs, um, they actually have to go. Africa has a new program in Kenya where they've built this big, beautiful school, and they're training people for jobs, and they actually have to hire from other countries, Kenya, United
No
Arab
kidding.
Emirates, for low level nursing, because people here either don't want to do it or they jump right ahead of that. And so there's a huge shortage because of long-term care, which we've talked about on the show. That's a crisis in this country.
Yeah,
So,
the baby boomers they were the largest portion of the
yeah.
population, and now they're
Almost almost 2 out of every 3 people will need long-term. If you live to 65 or older, there's a 2 out of 3 chance you're going to need long-term care.
yeah, it's we need workers,
Yeah.
and we need to plan for that definitely within the financial planning
So,
process.
but you mentioned rewarding careers versus top paying careers, and sometimes you have to find the right mix for you, right?
Right. Yeah, so it's everyone has to sort of make that decision of do I and all those that I just mentioned, those are all big expensive college degrees, so now you've
Oh,
got
yeah.
some big college loans to go along with that big paycheck. So, ending up with a ton of debt, you have to sort of weigh all this stuff. Another thing that I looked up that was pretty interesting is what career creates the most millionaires? And
Ah,
yeah, so it's based upon total number. So like there's like you just said, there's a shortage of doctors. So like doctors couldn't make the list just because there's so few of them. But the number one paying career or the number one career that creates millionaires is actually engineer.
yeah. Engineering is a huge field. You
So
have to
yeah,
be smart, and you have to work hard to get there and get the good jobs, but they are there. And there's that is a great field to go into if you want to make good money.
yeah,
I
there's
got I
like
got I got to believe accounting also, and attorneys, right?
yes, yeah, you nailed it. Engineers, accountants, attorneys, management, and then
Of
the
course.
last one was sort of a surprise. Teacher was actually on the list too. Of
Teacher.
yeah, even though they're
Hmm. Yeah.
not the most highly paid always. So
Yeah.
it's sort of an interesting like looking at that list, it looks like a lot of smart people, Tony. So maybe these smart people
Yeah.
are a little bit better at saving, and they think long
Yeah.
term rather than short term.
Yeah, so you've got rewarding, top paying, and what careers have the most millionaires, and then the millionaires one, all smart. The top paying, all smart. But there's I don't know where the category is where co-host would be, but
Didn't pop up yet.
radio show a little further down on the list. But no, a teacher does surprise me because I don't know any high school teachers that are millionaires unless they inherited it. So I don't know if they're talking about high school, middle school, and elementary, but maybe college professors because they have doctorates and they demand more money. I would assume that might be the field, or they've written papers and documents that get them research grants and things. I don't know.
I've got a decent amount of teachers that are millionaires, and the big
Oh,
thing is that
really?
yeah, just teachers still get good pensions, right?
Yeah, the pensions, that really helps too. Yeah.
So they're not like dipping into their savings per se because they can just live off of the fixed income that's coming in. So then that
Sure.
just builds up. So as time
Ah,
goes on, letting those investments grow rather than dipping into them, it allows them, So with the teacher, it's usually not retired that second you're a millionaire, but playing the long game, I can see why they're on the list because they
oh,
usually
yeah, and
are
they deserve
productive.
it. I mean, teachers work hard, and, I know a lot of them, like high school teachers nowadays, if they work in the public school system, they're having to buy a lot of their own supplies for their classrooms and things like
Yeah.
that. And they put a lot of their own time and money and effort into it. People say, "Oh, they get the 3 month or 2.5 month vacation," but when they're in school, they're working all night grading papers, and it's not a 40-hour a week job during the
No,
school
it's
year.
it's tough. I have so much respect for
Yeah,
teachers and
I do too. I really do. I know some teachers, and they're always during the school year. I know some public school teachers, and they are just, and some private school teachers, and they just during the school year they have to be there way early before the students arrive,
yeah.
and they stay after the students leave, and then they work either from the school or at home grading papers and getting ready for the next day. So it's a lot of work. They put in a lot more than 40 hours.
I have a huge tip for teachers out there, Tony. I have a client that is a teacher, and he said the best way to be a teacher is to actually just be a PE teacher because you're not grading papers. You're not like it's just basically you show up, watch them play games. He's like, I make just as much money as the
The
as the
math teacher.
chemistry teacher,
Yeah.
but I just have them play dodgeball. So that's
Yeah.
one way to sort of fast track
Yeah,
to
certain
teaching.
classes are a lot more work, like, English teachers or
Oh
creative
my gosh,
writing. I mean, you've got to really go over a lot of things and grade papers and read and correct, and yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah, PE teacher, that is funny. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah, I guess, that's a easy ride, but a lot of Phi Ed teachers I know, also have to teach other classes. You know what I mean?
yep,
Or a lot of high schools don't just pay you to be a coach. You're a coach and you're the math teacher, or you're a
yep,
coach
absolutely.
and you're the PE teacher. So, yeah, you might have
Well,
2 jobs for 1.
yep, yep. Yeah, so I guess if you are to our listeners and viewers out there, if you want to try to become a millionaire someday, if you want to retire on time, we'd be happy to sit down with you here. Give us a call at 586-226-2100 or visit our website, summitfc.net. I can help you look at your own skills, whether you're doing it with a financial advisor or on your own. When it comes to choosing a career, you want to look at your own skills, you want to look at what you enjoy, you want to take a personality test, absolutely, like Tony's wife suggests, and then just set goals, whether you're 18 years old, 22 years old, or 55 years old. Just look at all this stuff, and especially if you're in your 50s or anytime you get laid off from a job, we'd be happy to meet with you and help you sort of pick up the pieces and see if your retirement is still on track. Maybe you can retire early. I had FBI officer that I met with uh, last week, and he's able to retire at 54. Like he never thought in a million years he'd be in that position, but he was a really, really good saver, and he's able to. So
Yeah,
that's
there you
that's the
go.
best kind of meeting we can have, Tony. Surprise! You don't get a new career. You can just retire.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and we don't always choose. It's not like, some people retire early not because, they planned on it. It's just because those are the cards that they were dealt. So,
Exactly.
I don't think you can deal with those types of big life changes without working with somebody like yourself, a financial services professional, a fiduciary who's gonna look at your big picture. You got to take into consideration, what is your tax burden going to be? What is your healthcare cost going to be if you retire early? How much longer do you need to keep working? Do you need the same level of job you had? If you're in your 50s and you lost your job, you know, you want to really do the math and look at it all and put together a plan that'll meet your goals. And that's what you can do for people, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We have
Yeah.
absolutely amazing software that we use. We took almost a year looking at every single financial planning software that's available in the United States, and ultimately decided on the one that we're using right now. I'm very confident it's the best software to accomplish people's goals and figure out, can you retire? What's the probability of success? How much should we move from IRAs to Roth IRAs? Can you afford to pay for your kids' college, and how much of it? Um, can one spouse retire? Can both retire? Can we gift to our kids or grandkids? There's just so many. How many vacations can you go on per year? Like, I want to look you in the eye and say, you can take a trip every single year and spend this much, and your money's still going to go the distance. So those are the kind of questions that the do-it-yourselfers have a hard time answering on their own. So we'd love to sit down with you, no cost, no obligation meeting, and just see what your future looks like. That's what we're here for.
All right. That sounds good. And Ken, give that phone number and web address one more time for our listeners.
Yep. You can give us a call at 586-226-2100 or visit our website, summitfc.net.
All right. And that does it for today's episode of Money Talks with our host, Ken Wink from Summit Financial Consulting.